house, all the pews are closed in like this, and that's to help keep you warm. But something that's really cool about this whole bottom floor here is apparently you actually had to buy a pew, so this would be your family pew, and it would be reserved just for your family. And then upstairs, that would be the general admission, so the people who would just come in and then would sit randomly. Now, the church has been modified quite a bit since it started. Like, this whole section here is newer. The church itself actually caught fire in the 90s, I think it was. So huge chunks of it had to be rebuilt. But like, just look at this. Just this monstrosity of a piano. Because I've seen organs before, like big old pipe organs, but this is next level. Pardon me, because I mean, all of these buttons. And then just look at how many buttons there are down here for their feet. That's, you need some legitimate training to operate that thing. Glory and worship are before Him. Power and honor are in His sanctuary. I believe that's H. Because it doesn't make sense as far. I like the way it just, Jesus. I know it seems really, I'm wondering what this hook is. Oh, it's to open the window. That's actually really, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but now that I think about it, that's actually like a smart idea, because you're not getting up there to open those windows without a ladder, so that's really cool. But yeah, so this background here, it looks like wallpaper, but it's actually painted, and that was actually created to mark, I believe, the centennial of the church. I took a tour of this place last week, and I'm trying to remember things, but I've forgotten. The second balcony up there, that's where the children went. Here's the pulpit. Okay, I'm not gonna put my weight on that because I'm bigger than the average bear. But so the dome is part of what got destroyed, and I will actually get to go up there. That's not the ceiling. Well, it's the ceiling, but it's not the roof. So that dome is actually inside the roof of the building. And initially, it was painted as I believe he said ace, stars and the sun and moon. Yeah, so here's where you would go down on your knees, and then and the same with this. You're on your knees, and then I believe you'd have your elbows up here, and you'd be making the hands together. This here is the room where the priest, reverend, clergy, whatever, this is where their vestments were kept. So this is where they would get dressed. So, as you can see, black robes. The white robes are for the boys. And you got some like very decorative and almost ostentatious robes there. Those of you who are not religious probably won't have a clue what these are, but if you've seen any movie, pardon me, set in a church, you've seen them holding these. Inside this safe is the it's from a different church. It's the chalice for which you would do communion. These are some of the people who have preached here. So these would be the pews for the people who couldn't afford to purchase one permanently. As you can see, each one's raised to give you a better view, but definitely not something that was common. This church is still used today. Anglican originally. Kid been sitting up here just plugging it out in the middle of it. You can't sit over there? That's disappointing. That would explain why there's none of the things for people's needs. I actually have been a little disappointed that I haven't really been to any churches that have done my videos before. I mean, technically the meeting house was a church, but it ended up being converted to not a church. Church and religion was for the longest time by far the most significant thing Western culture is based off of the Judeo-Christian ethic. Most education originated from the church. They only educated people in an area typically where the church going, the seminary schools. But almost everything out of Western culture in some way or another got to where it is today thanks to religion. It's the same with, to a different extent, even in the Middle East. Things definitely aren't the way we think of as normal, but the reason they really are is because of Islam. But, yeah, so I'm truly fascinated by churches for, obviously, the historic value, but also they're beautiful. They're one of the few buildings that continue to be designed specifically to look impressive and to be architecturally significant. Even this one, which on the outside is just a plain wooden building, doesn't really stand out except for the fact that it's a giant circle. It's some of the most beautiful buildings in the world that you might be able to see from here. Another abandoned church just down there. Look at the front of that church. Even with all the windows taken out and replaced with boards, it's still an impressive, I think it's a facade. So the buildings are beautiful, they're historically significant, and a place like this is actually cool from an architectural perspective, just being a giant circle, and the dome, and the pews. I like the nice dark wood, it really makes the stairs look elegant. Alright, so here, and you can kind of tell by the seating and the books and toys, was where the children would gather. Whew. And probably the coolest part of this tour is through this door. Alright, so there would be, well, you can see it here, this would be laying flat across here, you'd have to push it up. And this brings you up on top of the dome. Most part around it, it's covered by plexiglass, whatever that is, but I think honestly one of the things that sticks out most about this church, aside from the fact that I'm completely out of breath, is the first time I came out here I noticed there's no plastic divider here, obviously, but I can't help but see the one chair and the one kneeler here. Because at first when you look at it you wouldn't think anything of it, but obviously all the pews have Bibles because that's where people sit during the services. But if there's a Bible up here, that means there's probably someone during the services who's sitting up here and then kneeling here during the service, and this person is a genius. And it might be that they're just pulling the bell, but they have by far the best view in the entire building. Oh wow, echo. And that to me is just, because for most people they're just sitting in here, it doesn't even occur to them that there's somebody up here who gets a view of everything. And that to me, that's really cool. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so you can see all the insulation and flame retardant, all the big, thick wooden beams, and then you can actually walk all the way around the dome. This kind of storage space. And it seems legitimately, it seems so weird. The idea of, from the inside, if you hadn't been here before, you'd look up at the dome from downstairs and you'd be like, oh, okay, that's the roof. But no, it's a dome, and basically it has its own room, and the room more or less exists just to encapsulate the dome. A few people Alright, and then up here, because this is by far the most all-inclusive tour I've done of a building so far. Oh. And I do really get a kick out of seeing these massive wooden beams, because now everything's made from steel and brick and the like. So we really don't think of the fact that in order for this building to be made of wood, they've really needed to make it thick for it to be strong enough. Whew. And then here's the complicated pulley system, because they've got to be able to ring the bell without having to come all the way up through here. And I'd give you a better view, but I really don't want to try and climb up there because I know I'm too heavy. But where is it? But yeah, so the ropes connect to the bell. The bell will come down through here, hook up to that pulley and to that pulley. And then they go all the way down to there. One thing about this place, being wood like this, it is warm in here. But honestly, looking at this place, it seems like if you took away the roof, this would just be a deck. So you've got a roof underneath the roof, underneath the deck, underneath the roof, and it's weird. It isn't something you would expect, but at the same time, it's super cool. Of people trying to get down this really weird stair ladder. So, I think just the part of being human, you see a button, or you see a rope, or you see anything, you want to pull it. Unfortunately, no one ever lets you pull it. Here they do. Okay, that sucked. But yeah, so you pull the rope here, and then there's the whole series of pulleys to the bell, which is got to be close to 15-20 feet above us. So instead of having to go all the way up there, sweating your butt off, climbing like 4 different ladders, you can just sit here, and then I don't know, the fellow down there, ring the bell! You don't even have to get up. Used to lead out to the children's gallery you mentioned, the 3rd row, or it does. Okay, so yeah, this used to be how you get out to those children's balconies I mentioned that overlooked everything. Toy kitchen. That is adorable. And then here we see the original stonework. Looks a lot prettier than cement. So they must have kind of been important because they're the only ones down here. But yeah, that's really cool. I wouldn't. I mean, if I were to think about it, it makes sense. But no, I would not have come to that on my own. We have the oil for the modern heating. picture taken from the fire. And as you can see, there's a huge hole in the wall there. And it looks like the entire front end collapsed. And aside from the dome, it looks like there actually wasn't too much debris falling from the roof into the main area. Oh wow. Now that's quite the picture. Alright, so what's really cool about this place is it's already impressive enough. You come up these stairs into this beautiful building, and you've got these 6 doors here, and then you come through, and then you've got 6 more doors, and then you have a nice dark wood staircase with the red carpeting, and it just kind of prepares you that you're not in a modern building where everything's just as simple as they can make it for as cheap as they can make it. You're actually in an impressive, architecturally somewhat significant, and a beautiful building, because this is what it opens up to, and just splendor really is the best word I can think of, because they don't build things like this anymore, and they really need to. Just a staircase so that when you enter a building, you have to actually, it's not just you open the door, you walk in, you're in. No, you're good. You've got to actually come in, and it's like, oh wow, we got to walk up these beautiful stairs. There's actually something to see here. It makes it an occasion to enter a building.